what I do. There you go. What's poppin', Stephanie?
Oh, look at
What's going on?
look at all your fonts and everything. It looks so good. You're so
Listen, I had to
fancy.
customize a little bit, right? We gotta make
Is that
use of
Jillian?
Ecamm.
Oh, Ecam's on a whole nother
Yeah,
level.
that is Miss Jill. That is Jillian. There you go.
JoJo's gonna come out to San Diego for a social media marketing
Social
world. Are
media
you coming
I'm
through?
jealous. No,
Why?
because it's expensive.
No.
That's the reality. That's the real answer.
But you know what? Okay.
Well, don't yell at me yet
anyone
during
this.
the countdown
No,
timer. Yell at me.
I feel like most people they do what I call LobbyCon, which is they just post up
Yeah.
and like somebody will come through because they're trying to go through a session. And you're like, hey, come through. just do
Yeah,
a podcast with me, you
Real
know.
quick,
and then
right,
like that's like real quick. Just do a quick video with. And then it's good.
Yeah. Oh, look, Gigi says she loves the green lighting, so we were repping. So you and I being in sync with the green
Sam.
lighting. Yes. And if I remember correctly, I think that's because pink and green are her sorority colors. So of course she's gonna love all the green. Billy, what is going on? I haven't seen Billy in a minute. The community came through for you, girl. That's
Why
what
do
they
I
did.
feel
They
like
came
I've
through
seen
for
Billy?
you.
I feel like I have Billy on like my Facebook. Are we Facebook friends?
Because
I feel
he
like I've
just
seen
started.
him.
We are. Yeah, he just started streaming again recently. So he's.
I do
been
feel
all
like
over.
I feel like I saw something like that before.
Yeah.
You know, that's the funny thing. I feel like when people do stream, you do become top of mind and tip of tongue, because then I'm like, oh yeah, I know that this person's working on this and this person's working on that.
Right.
We could talk more about that too, because I find
Yeah.
that really overlaps in my role, what I do at Agora Pulse. I'm like, how do you know what people are doing? You know?
Yeah. Look at this fool. We was talking all the crap about you. We were.
Oh, you know
Don't
what?
come for me. Don't come for me.
Well, let me tell you, this man, he tries to tell you where to find the best fried chicken, but you know, that's all sus, because
The show's
you ain't
already started.
looking for some chicken thighs. You was looking for something else.
The show's already started. What is going on? Stephanie, my good friend, man. And you know, I be having you guys on and I be fangirling and I be like, nah, y'all are my homies. So what's going on with you, girl? How are you?
Oh my gosh, all the things. You got me on a Sunday night, which, like, to be very honest with you, I am so very fond of the text message reminders and all the reminders, because on the
Right?
weekends I'm usually like, boop, boop,
Right.
doo, I'm doing laundry.
Right. So listen, let me tell you about those reminders. You know how usually things like that come about because you suffered from a misencounter or something. So that's what happened to me. And I was like, nah, these alerts just on my calendar ain't enough. I need text messages. I need emails. I need all the things.
Yeah. As Missy Elliott once said, all up in the booty lake. If you remember that song, we go way back.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So I'm glad. I know. Well, that's so funny because even when I was following up with you the last week to make sure that you were still on, you know, because things happen, right? You're like, did we officially book? I said, no, this. Yeah. Yes, Steph. And then, you know, politically correct. Yes, Stephanie, it's on the calendar. I'm just reminding you. Did you? I'm like, I know.
If it's on the calendar, yes. Well, but I think here's the thing. When it's on the weekend, like by default, my brain typically shuts off, like work-wise.
Right.
You know,
Right.
For me, it's me and baby girl time.
Yeah.
And there was this one time where I did get booked for a show on a Sunday night, and there was no reminders. And so at one point I did get a Facebook message. It's like, hey, we're ready. And I was like,
well, I am not.
I was like, we're ready for what? Because it was one of those things. I mean, you talk about like the green lighting and whatnot, but I had like green lighting on my face. I had like a green face mask. And I was like, bro, I don't even think I could like show up right now.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And you know what? I think I was even trying to be nice, because then I was like, this was when Snap Camera was still working. Did you know that it doesn't work anymore?
No,
I found out the hard way.
Okay.
So first, I flipped on Snap Camera and I had like the fake lashes and everything.
All the silly faces. Right. Got you.
And then second point, when I found out that Snap Camera stopped working on January 25th was when I had a 6:45 a.m. meeting. I was like, why is this not working? And I was like, you know what?
The date and time.
Yeah, and then I was like, I'm gonna pull that one card. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my tech right now. Something's being weird. But I was just like, yoink, HDMI cable not happening. Like,
Right.
we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
That is funny. The community is here showing up. I have to give a little shout out to my boo. I told her, so she's also a single mom, and she's chimed in just for you to just say hi, because I was like, you'll love Stephanie, so just come hang. She's literally ready to go to bed because she'll wake up at 5 o'clock tomorrow, but she came to show you love. So
Come through.
yeah,
Come through.
that's that single mom life. And then
Miss Jill
Lewis is
says,
here. Doc Rock is here. What does Miss Jill say? What? No more snap cam?
no more Snapcam. None. Yeah. So plan ahead. Plan accordingly. Add an extra. You know how like on your calendar you could put like travel time? I put fix your face time.
Fix your FaceTime.
You need 30 minutes to fix your face and do all the things that you're supposed to do.
I mean, so it's not fix your FaceTime for me, but it is fix these curls, because if I don't fix these curls, I be looking like with the afro. I be having to get my curls right, because it, that's that curly hair. Look at who came through too. This woman here. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for this person to book herself on the show. I sent her an invite months ago. Shade, no shade. Melanie. Shade, no shade. But that's all right. Maybe one day she'll bless me.
Maybe one day.
Maybe.
One
perhaps.
day. It's one of those things. You know what? I feel like the next time we see each other at the next conference, we'll just be standing by the escalator, with those postcards, and we'll just be like, have you seen my friend Melanie?
Yes.
Can you please remind her? And then just like hold it up. And then people
Right.
like, so, who's Jill? Have you found my friend Jill?
Right. Because that's another one that was, she told me not to call her out. But of course, you say not to call you out. I'm going to call you out.
You call you out. Yeah.
Right.
That's what friends do. Don't tell me
what,
first of all, don't tell me what to do.
Exactly. First of all, not on my stream. Y'all know better. But
don't tell me what to do. Yeah.
But she was one of the ones that also agreed last year. Again, I did a follow-up reminder. I did not have the text, though, but I did do a follow-up reminder literally the day before. Yeah. Messaging her, because she nowhere to be found when it was time for her to jump in. She was on her way to what they call out here on the northeast coast. Above me, they call it the Packy, which is a package store, which is really like a liquor store. That's what it is. Listen, in New York, we call it a liquor store. Like,
wait, are you in New York?
I was born and raised in Brooklyn. That's where the Euro comes from. That's why me and Doc are fam, because I was born and raised in Brooklyn all day, every day. I had to do all of that. You can't not rep Brooklyn.
You can't stop it.
Right, exactly. But I'm in Philly now. But, I guess when you start to get to a certain part further up from like a certain part of Connecticut up, they call liquor stores. First of all, they're package stores, but then they say the Packy.
The Packy. Oh, that's so interesting. Well, I'm going to be in New York next month for a week. So if you want to come through.
Yeah, I'm now I'm an hour and a half away. Yeah, we need to link up and make all these people jealous. Cool. Hello.
Make all them all jealous. Yeah, I'm like, Melanie, what? Melanie, who?
Right. This is what happens. All right. So and look at everybody. Who else just showed up? I just saw somebody else come in.
Tanya.
Look at this girl. Tanya just showed up. And there is what did Paul say? Stephanie coming down the escalator with hair flowing behind. Right. Listen.
No, you know what? And then I'll have the fan too.
Right.
With Melanie's face on it. Have you seen my friend? Have you seen my friend? This is how my friend looks. That would be me.
Oh my goodness. Yes, the T's in your, all right, so you ready to practice it? Because you did it really good. You ready to, give me your best New York. Okay, wait. This is it. All right, because I know you like to visualize. So I'm gonna, let's set the scene and go. You are in Manhattan. You are expecting for me to show up. You're on the corner where you told me, and you're like, estúpida, turn around. That's what's happening. Turn around. Right. And so I'm looking for you, but you realize, oh, we in New York. I know how to get India's attention. And so then you go, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. See, that was, I'm going to give you all the things.
I got that right.
You
But daughter's
that
gonna
right.
come over here right now, just like, Mom, like, what are you doing right now?
Right, exactly. She's gonna be like,
is work.
right, right, exactly. Oh my
I love
goodness.
it.
That was perfect. So now you know that's exactly. And when you see me when you're in New York, you better do that. Cause then people are just gonna think that you're from New York. Like, that's it.
Oh, I'll do that. Okay, now I know. Now I know. Now I
That's how we
know.
say hello to
You
each
gotta
other.
get me ready. The first time I was in New York, right? So coming
Mm.
from San Diego, the first time I was in New York and I was like walking down the street, everyone was like just trying to bypass me because apparently West Coast we walk hella slow, and
Right.
they were just like, "Oh hell no,
No.
you're not from
No.
around here.
Mm-mm.
I got
No.
places to be." And I was like,
Right.
"Oh my bad." I'm like
Right.
staring at stuff,
Right. No,
just
get out the
asking.
way. Get
I
out
know,
the
just
way.
asking to get jacked. I was like, "Go ahead, rob me." What?
What's wrong with you? Move. Go. Hold on. That's
Move,
what they
get out
tell
the
you
way.
out there. Exactly. Oh my
It's okay though.
goodness.
It's
Anyway.
okay. That's okay.
Well, oh look, Tanya's mad. Tanya, oh no, Paul says Stephanie has had training. She didn't. It behind the scenes. That was just a natural thing. It came to her
Well,
naturally.
good. She
That was
got me
good.
in the right mindset,
That's it. All right. So it seems like everybody in the community knows you, but just in case someone is watching that we don't know, why don't you take a few minutes and tell everyone who you
I
are?
haven't graced your presence. I haven't graced your newsfeed. OMG, let me bless you real quick. I'm Stephanie Garcia, and I am the host and CEO of Lights Camera Live, where we show you how to go from unknown to unforgettable by leveraging live video. And so I've helped my clients from MasterChefs to astronauts leverage live video by getting on the Fascination Fast Track. So if you're tired of being the best kept secret in town, then this is the spot to be. I got you. I got you.
Very cool.
Oh, oh, so cute. You're so cute. Oh my god. Oh my god, you're like my boob. I'm sorry. It's a Sunday. Come on.
That's it. I'm gonna rearrange that placement anyway. Oh my
This is your boob
goodness.
right here.
Mel says
She's like, "No, I'm not gonna do that scene ever again."
No. Of course I will. Come on, we gotta have fun. Mel says, by the way, has no one mentioned the Eagle shirt? I mean, K-Walk, who's from Philly, K-Walk did mention the Eagle shirt. I did have to rep Philly. Although I don't know what's happening with the game. So this is how I'm gonna know. I will know if the Eagles won if when I go outside tomorrow, there's chaos in Philadelphia. That's how I'll know. Because apparently a few years ago, like there were like crazy, not riots, but almost riots. Like they like tore the city up, like climbing up lamp posts. Yeah, they're insane out here. Like insane. Listen, I was driving back from the store and there were already people like on a school roof with their stuff. Like I was like, what the is this the hood that I live in? Like what?
It's Spirit Day.
Right. Exactly.
It's Spirit Day. Come on. What else you gotta look forward to? You know, someone asked me earlier today, they're like, what are you looking forward to this week? He's like, I don't know. But in Philly right now, they know what they know. They're good.
Wait, so is the game over, Doc? Is that what he said? He said the Niners lost. I don't know. Listen, I just figured I don't know. Quiet
Melanie
riots.
says they won.
They won? Oh, see, I'm not. Listen, I just had to rep Philly. Oh, they won. So that means, guys, check on me this week. Check on my home. Check on my vehicle. Make sure that everything is all right. Thank God I did groceries.
India Delgado has marked herself safe. From riots.
From the Philadelphia celebration of whatever. Anyway, there's chaos in Philly already. Already? Is there really?
My gosh.
All right. Well, whatever. I'm home. I was trying to rush home before everything happened. So, anyway. All right. So, before we get to the fun, because we are going to get to some interview fun later on. But before we get to the fun, you got a lot of stuff going on. So, how long have you been live streaming for? Let's talk about that. And how did you get into live streaming? Let's talk about that transition.
I got into live streaming back in 2016. And I got into live streaming in 2016 because my daughter was born in 2015.
Okay.
And so it was one of those things where I was working in the creative agency. And when you work in an agency, you work pretty much 50 to 60 hours a week. And I don't know about you, but I was very much like, if I'm going to be bringing another human being into this world that I'm responsible for,
Right.
I want to be there to instill my values, beliefs, and attitudes, basically be present. And so my
Mm.
whole thing was like, well, shit, if I, oh, oops, my bad.
No, you're good. Girl, bye. We're good. Don't worry
We're
about it.
good.
Go ahead. Be
I was
you.
like, well,
You.
if I could do this for Nike's Sephora and Clinique, I sure as hell can do it for myself. And so what I noticed is that everyone else was calling themselves a social media strategist. And I was like, but how? What? Who? Like,
Right.
what's your street cred? Like, where you been?
Who
Like, I never
said?
even heard
Right.
you before.
Right.
And so it's one
Right.
of those things where India, I was like, well, how do I separate myself from the sea of sameness? And the
Yeah.
thing is that yes, if you are able to be confident on camera, your clients are going to be confident that you can get them results, right, India? See, you know what you're doing.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
This is
You
like
agree.
a
You heard
perfect
this, right?
yes. Yes.
This is perfect. And so I was just like, okay, well, if everyone is just, talking the talk, I'm gonna walk the walk and I'm gonna show you what it is that I do. And I would show them how I would do a social media audit, how I would do an editorial calendar. That was the first time I started live streaming. And then ever since then, it kind of just like took off. People are like,
Mm.
hey, I've seen you in my news feed, because the algorithm at the time very much favored live streaming. And so ever since
Right.
then, it led to speaking on stages, writing books, doing master classes, all the things.
Right.
And now I get to be part of the Ecam fam and all the
You
wonderful
can't
things, and
fam.
getting to meet the rest of the crew, Doc, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elo, Melanie, right?
All
Yeah, you
these
guys are
crazy,
amazing. Paul
crazy
Duncan.
people. Paul Duncan. That
I
guy.
know.
That guy.
That man. Hey, if you're gonna ask a question, you gotta put a Q in front.
You're in front of it.
Otherwise, it's
Exactly.
just a
It's just a
comment.
question. Right. Exactly. Otherwise,
It's just, oh my God, have you ever done that at a conference?
no.
I'd be like, I'm sorry, is that a comment or is that a question? Because I didn't see a Q in
A
front
cue
of
in
it.
front of it. Right. Right. All right, and watch, and we'll give it the YouTube latency, but I'm sure it's gonna come in immediately afterwards because he
Yeah,
has them. He
he's
has the
like,
Stream Deck buttons prepared because he's
hotkey.
Mr. Moderator.
Yep,
Exactly, Mr. Moderator
Mr.
extraordinaire.
Moderator.
See, I don't trust him.
No, Doc.
I
No, don't
don't.
trust Doc.
I don't trust him. I see. I don't even need to. Right? Like
You
you can
don't
tell
need to,
me
no.
real quick after this. Behind the scenes, you can give me the credits, but.
Seriously. Doc, stop trying to get people in trouble.
Exactly. Look at this one. Look at this one. Your
Your
question should
question
look
should
like
look like
this.
this.
Otherwise,
Otherwise,
it's
it's
just a
just a
comment.
comment. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So you started live streaming in 2016. Your daughter was born in
2016.
2015. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you were still doing, when did that shift from when you were working right for someone else for the agency to when you said,
Mm.
I'm cool? Like when did that happen?
Oh. Okay, so I feel like anyone that's ever worked at an agency, you've always had your side hustle. You would always have your
Yep.
own side clients and whatnot. Because in agency life, I mean, you're just another person on the payroll. If the agency ever lost a client, the best way for them to save money is to let go of staff. And so everyone, as far as I know, always had a side hustle or had clients on the
Mm,
side. And it got to a point, India, where like my client was in the Fortune 50 as far as pharmaceuticals. And
okay.
basically, they're just like, well, we want you on this project. And I was like, this pays more than my agency job. And it doesn't require
What?
me to, yeah, and it doesn't require me to work 50, 60 hours a week.
Right.
And I got to fly out to like New York probably every other month. And I was like, this is the dream job. And so that was the first part where I was like, I could
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think it's one of those things where, having been in the agency side, I knew how to grow and scale different clients. And so I knew that if
Right.
I took on another client, I could use everything that I used before to create SOPs and project management, and then just rebuild my team basically. And that's what I did. And I did it for a good, probably say like, oof, wait, how long has it been now? Now it's like, oh my gosh, I've been in business for like 7 years
Yeah.
doing my
Congrats.
own
First of
thing.
all, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Right. Like, and,
Yeah.
just to come to, so, okay. Okay. All right. So let me ask you something, right? Because you said you started streaming basically a year after your daughter was born.
Hmm.
And clearly that transition, right? So you're momming, and anybody who knows you knows you love your daughter, right? Like you are a
Yes.
mom's mom, right? And not that moms, I know you know what I
Yep.
mean, like, right? Like, how was it scary? I don't want to say how hard was it, but okay, did that create? I'm trying to formulate the question because it's in my mind, but I need to put it into words. So I'm like, speak. Um,
Speak.
did the fact that you were a mom and you had a little human depending on you, were there times where you were like, I can't do this or I won't do this because I need this stability because I have to
Oh, you
make
mean
sure
like
she's good?
working for someone else versus entrepreneurship?
Yeah, yeah,
No, I mean, honestly, I think it flipped a switch in my brain where it was more like failure is not an option. It's like
mm,
it was one of those things where it's like I'm either building the dream and the lifestyle that I want to have, or I'm building someone else's dream and lifestyle that they want. And so I
ooh,
have to choose, who am I going to make a priority? And so it's one of
yeah,
those things, I think, if you're making the transition into a full-time content creator, you really have to ask yourself, what are my systems? What are my processes? Am I
yep,
charging the right prices? And I
yep,
think for me, especially in having my little one, it was more like, you know, if someone asked me for like my pricing, I
yeah,
charge with confidence. I'm like,
yeah,
I know my stuff.
yeah,
There's no one out there who's gonna like shake me down for anything. I'm like, you know, I'm one of one, limited edition. You want to work with Stephanie Garcia, you work with Stephanie Garcia. If you want somebody else, there's anybody else that you can work with. Go find a body.
yeah,
But if you want
yeah.
Stephanie Garcia, then that's a Stephanie Garcia price. And so at that point,
That's,
it was really, it flipped the switch. Like there is no failure basically at that
yeah,
point. I've always had the belief that there are resources in relationships. And I think when you
mm,
go out there and you tell people, this is what I'm working
yeah,
on, this is what I'm building, these are my values,
yeah,
this is the type of relationship that I want to have with my clients, with my audience, and so on and so forth, they're going to respect you for that. You're not a yes person that just takes on every single brand deal or partnership or whatever. There's values that you stand for. And so even now, it's like when people ask me, like, what do you use to go, stream with? I'm like, I freaking use Ecamm,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like I've seen other like platforms where they come out with other stuff, but I'm like, that's cute and all, but
Right, right,
my
right.
loyalty lies. It's like I know where my
Girl,
loyalty lies,
go
right?
ahead. Because I say the same thing. I tell everybody I'm an Ecamm evangelist. You can't tell me
Yes,
nothing. That's it.
yeah. I mean, I could
Man,
pop by and say hi.
right. And be like,
I'll say hi.
and quickly say bye and
Yeah,
go back to Ecamm, right?
yeah.
Like,
But then I'm still chatted up with Katie, Caleb, and Doc and whatnot. So I mean, like
right.
that's the crew. That's fam. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Melanie says, yeah, this is hitting home for me right now. Charge with confidence. F
yeah,
yeah. Doc says that's in
yeah,
the same level as the work life balance BS. Newsflash, there's only one life, so stop balancing to do
yeah,
ish. The
yeah,
imbalance of work and life, and and the word what? The imbalance of work and life is the word yes. I just say that I just because, I don't want to tell. So Angie's a mom's mom. Angie's a single mom, and she's like mama bear,
yeah,
right? Like it's one of those things. And Angie's a nurse, so she's going back to school to become an RN. She's an LPN. She's a school nurse. Like she can really like, but it's everything is the kids first, and I get that, right? Like I understand that, but I see that sometimes for her, and I know, and it's not just Angie. I'm just saying that because that's someone that I know personally, but I feel like that's sometimes a big roadblock for women that are mothers. And even if you read, so one of my favorite books, because I like to say that I am a feminist, right? And I've read Lean In,
yeah,
one of my favorite books. Read it multiple times. That had like those aha moments where, and it's true. I see it. I watch us as women. I'm still in corporate America, right? So I still work in the
mm-hmm.
banking industry, and so I still see when we're at the table where women ask for permission, where men just start talking. We'll wait, right, for someone to finish their all of those things. And so the segue into that is that I feel like and so the other piece of that is also that's why you don't see statistically there aren't, maybe it's changed since I've last read the book, but there aren't that many women in C-suite. There aren't that many women in executive positions because of how the system is set up, one with maternity leave and things like that. And then women feel like they have to stay home to provide for their kids. They don't take that risk,
Oh,
right?
for
So
sure.
seeing someone like you who's successful and to hear that your daughter was not even a year old yet, and you're like, there's an opportunity. I'm gonna take this and run with it. I
Yeah.
feel like we need to hear more stories like yours to show that you can
Yeah.
be a great, present, intentional mom. Go ahead.
For sure. I'll say one thing too, because 2020 for me was a really, really hard year. It
Mm,
was when my daughter it was supposed to be her first year in kindergarten, but everything was done via Zoom. So while I thought, like, in hindsight, that I was going to be able to drop her off at school, be able to have
yeah,
uninterrupted work and whatnot, no, now she was doing Zoom school. I went from Stephanie Garcia, CEO, to
yeah.
chief mute officer. So I was like, mute, unmute, mute, unmute. Oh,
Right, right, right.
teacher asked you a question, mute, unmute. You know, and no, seriously, I was the CMO. I was the chief mute officer. I was like
Right,
literally thinking of updating my LinkedIn.
right,
But it
right.
was one of those things where I just realized, okay, you have to adapt. You have to adapt, because how I was doing business before
Yeah.
isn't going to allow me to scale or have the lifestyle or even just the healthy mindset, mind,
Mm,
well-being, spiritual, all of that good stuff wasn't going to
yeah.
work out if I continue to do business the same way. And so I started shifting it, and I was like, I'm going to start doing a remote live video production. And that was really the difference that made the difference. And I think because of that, look
Salud. Bless you.
at me. And because of that, see, this is how you know it's live.
That's
And it was like,
it. All good.
and it was because of that it was like, that was my most profitable year,
Yeah.
was really taking a look at my business and saying, all right, so now my time is limited, but because my time is limited, doesn't mean that I'm going to discount my prices. So while other
Right.
people, they do like Black Fridays and,
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
Cyber Mondays, I never do that. Never.
Yeah.
No, no.
Never.
It's
Never.
because never, because my time is now limited, y'all,
Mm.
that means the price went up. So if you
Mm.
really, really want my time, because here's the thing is that, like, if you do want my time, I'm going to pour every single little thing that I know about live streaming or building my business or brand partnerships and all of that. I'm going to pour all of that into you in that amount of time frame versus like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I'll give you 12 weeks and then we can figure it out in 12 weeks. Like, no, you want a full day,
Yeah.
VIP strategy day. I'm going to give you every single thing, templates, all that jazz in a
Yeah.
single day. And we're going to hammer it out. No excuses, because
Yeah.
after those 8 hours, it's like I'm off doing something else,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Yes. I knew having a conversation with you would be good. Paul Burke says, "Oh, India, you're syncing the colors between backgrounds. Now that's classy." Yeah, we did because that
We did.
Paul Burke.
See, that's a nice thing about having a nan light.
Right.
I think I learned that from Doc Rock and the Ecamm crew, because and it was funny because I remember I was on another show with like Rob Balasabas
Mhm.
and a couple of other guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so what's the theme for tonight? And they're like, oh, you look fine. I was like, it's not about looking fine. It's about when you repurpose the video, I want to make sure that
Right.
it makes sense. Like, I don't know
Right.
about you. Like, this is me just going off on a tangent, but like,
It's okay.
if
All good.
my show is green and someone decides to put like magenta, and I'm like, that
Right.
doesn't look good.
What you
If I
doing? Like,
repurpose this, it's going to be so obnoxious that it's just going to feel wrong, because visually, from a perspective, the first impression, if the colors don't match, if they don't sync, then
mm,
to the naked eye, it's like, move on to the
right.
next thing. So yeah, of course. And I was like, okay, what's the color, what's the theme, what are you wearing? I was like, okay, got it. You got to coordinate, you got to plan this stuff.
Man, listen.
I
All
think that's
this
the mind of a content creator, right?
right.
It's that even though you're planning for the show, so she told you everything about like the text messages and the calendars and the email reminders and all that
Right.
other stuff. But even as a content creator, you're thinking about, okay, how do you keep people engaged during the show? But even after the show, we're still thinking like 10 steps ahead. How are we going
Right.
to repurpose the show? How's it
Right.
going to look like? How are you going to
Right.
format it? Yeah,
Right.
all the
Yeah.
things.
ECam 4.0 isolated video recording makes all the repurposing super easy because now I get clean feeds of you, clean feeds of me, the whole stream show. We got all of that for all your
All of
repurposing
it.
needs. Thank you,
It's
eCam.
ridiculous. Thank you, Ecamm. Thank you,
Thank you,
Kimberly.
Ekim.
I really appreciate it.
All right.
Y'all make me look good.
So talk to me a little bit more. And Evie yells at me. You know, Evie and I are good friends. And I know you and Evie are
Yes.
good friends. So naturally, we are good friends through Evie. So that's just what it is, right? Like I'm like she's posting pictures or you're posting pictures together. And I'm putting myself in that picture with you guys. You don't know that, but I'm
Hey, you know
copying
what?
and pasting.
I've been playing with like AI art. I
Right.
could find a way to squeeze you in there, okay?
Let's do it. Do it. I dare you to do
I
it
could
and
do that.
just share you. That's it. One night, you ladies are going out to dinner and then just randomly put me in. Be like, yes, I flew to San Diego. Yeah.
Actually, actually, I think it was Paul Duncan that said that this should be a meme now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get legit a headshot of you. I'm going to print it out as a little circle and then I'm going to put it on like a popsicle stick. And then like, so we'll take a photo and we're like, and
Yes,
here's
and
India. Because that's legit how you do your scene. You're like,
right. Right. That is funny as hell. Oh my goodness. But I was bringing that up because you are, and I wrote it down because I am trying to be prepared. So you see, I have all my notes.
you are.
Neuro linguistic programming trainer. I know it's NLP,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
people who don't know who NLP is, I wanted to make sure I get it right. Neuro linguistic programming trainer. What the hell is that?
Yes. Okay. Let's break it down, right? So
Yes.
neuro is really understanding how you process information. And so I feel like you and I, when we communicate, we're very visual. We see things and we jump from one idea to another. We talk really fast and we talk with our hands.
Yeah.
That's usually something that most visual communicators do. If you were trying to explain something to me, you're like, Stephanie, just listen, and you only described it to me without painting a picture, I would have the hardest time
Mm-hmm.
processing it or
Mm-hmm.
imagining it or visualizing it. Even when we did the one earlier, we're like, I know you like to visualize, right?
Right.
So
Right.
neuro is really understanding how people process information. How do you relive moments in your life? Is it visual? Is it auditory? Is it kinesthetic? Are you the
Mm-hmm.
type of person, if someone's going to pitch you, do you have to see the big picture first, or are you all about the details, right? Are
Yeah.
you the type of person where you need to know the why, the what, the how, or what will happen if I do this and what will happen if I don't do this? So it's really understanding how someone's mind works.
Gotcha.
Linguistic part is really, what is that language? What is their communication style? So if I were to ask you, how do you motivate yourself to go to the gym? What do you say to yourself? You know, some people be like, B, you gotta go, right?
That's
No
it.
one's
Get your
gonna do it
lazy
for
ass
you.
to the
You
gym.
gotta
Right.
go,
Right.
right? Or some people are like, some people will say something like, it's time to go, it's time to do it. But
Yeah.
whatever it is, it's understanding how do you have that conversation with yourself internally? And so sometimes the way that we speak to ourselves are really nice. Sometimes we're very
Yeah.
encouraging. Sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. But if you
Yeah.
really understand what people are saying to themselves and how their thoughts become their words and their words become actions, that's really the linguistic part of it. And then programming is really, what are your unconscious habits? Like if I were to ask you, when you go and get ready to the gym, how do you get ready to go to the gym? Like for me, if someone says, Steph, let's go to the gym, let's go work out. Okay, well then I need to go turn on my music, right? I need to hear some Cardi B. I need to hear some Meg the Stallion,
Right.
and then I gotta feel good, right? Because when I
Right.
feel good, then
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
get hype.
look good.
You gotta get
Yeah.
hype.
So when I go through that exact process, then I will go to the gym. But if you're like, just grab your stuff and go, I'm like, no, 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 no. There's a whole process to it.
Yeah.
And I think for those of you that are content creators, especially live streamers, there is an unconscious strategy that you also do as part of your programming on how you prepare for a show. So it's either reviewing the questions, researching your guest. Maybe you're listening to music. Maybe you're messing with the lighting in your office and all those other things. But NLP is really understanding, how do you communicate with yourself? How do you motivate yourself? And then how do you take that same skill set and then look at the other person that you're pitching to, your partner, your spouse, your kids, or even like a brand partnership. And you have to understand, what's the difference that's going to make the difference? How do you communicate in such a way that's going to motivate them to do what it is that you want them to do or that they want to do, but they just need that extra bit of coaching? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100% makes tons of sense. Let me get myself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes sense 100%. I feel like you might have either you or Evie might have explained it to me before. And just even like, because I do sales, right? In the mortgage world, I'm a salesperson. That's what I am. So not
Yeah.
even, obviously as a content creator, but I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Really understanding that, because it's about one, me as a communicator, but then also two, the people that you're communicating to, how are they receiving that communication?
How are they
So
receiving it? Yeah.
understanding, yeah,
So
good.
yeah, we often have this saying that the meaning of communication is the response that you get. And so even as a salesperson, even though you're used to giving that same
Yeah,
pitch, that same spiel,
yeah,
if you're not getting the response that you want, they're not signing on the dotted line,
yeah.
then you have to change your communication. Because let's be honest. Okay, so let's go back to programming. Some people are motivated by the carrot. This is all the great things that you're going to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like just imagine what it would be like if you were to do. Some people are motivated by pain. You're like, if you don't do this, then blah, 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 right? These are all the consequences. You're going to be stuck. You're going to do.
Yeah.
And then sometimes that motivates them to actually change and do something. So when you understand how to motivate someone, what language they need in order for them to move towards the goal that they want, I feel like that's really the combination lock. It's like, all right, I got to like make these few tweaks
Yeah.
and I could help this person and I could coach them to where it is that they need to be. And oftentimes, I think for those of us that are live streamers and we offer consulting to clients,
Mm-hmm.
we know how we convinced ourselves in our journey to get from point A to point B. For us to just be like, just do it. It's like, but
Right.
not really.
Right. Right.
Not
Right.
really.
Right.
You know,
Right.
some people need those little baby steps, right? So for me to get my butt to the gym, don't get me wrong, I like to be healthy and all that. But for
Yeah.
me to do that, I need to listen to music first. Once I hear it,
Yeah.
then I get, then I feel this emotion. And then if I feel it and I look good, I'm like, I gotta keep looking good, right?
Right. Right.
then
I hear
I'm gonna
that.
go to the
Yeah.
gym.
Yeah.
And so if you said to me like, babe, right? Girls is players too, right? And then you start playing like, okay, right? And then you're just like, let's go, right? Then I'm gonna go to the gym. But if you're like, hey, you throw like my yoga pants and you're like, boom, let's go. I'm like,
right. Right.
what do you want me to do? Fold it? Like,
Right.
like, what am I supposed to do with this? Right. But it's like, again, it's
Yeah.
knowing how to motivate the other person. So whether you're a live streamer, a content creator, or if you're a coach, a consultant, if you're a trainer, like a physical trainer and whatnot, like you have to understand how people are programmed, because what motivates you is very different from how I'm motivated. If someone were to say to me like, oh, Stephanie, you should buy this because it's 50% off, I don't care. But if you're like, Stephanie, but if you bought this, now you have a mobile production studio in the palm of your hand, and now you can launch a show that's going to impact millions of women across the world.
Right.
What?
Yeah,
now you have my attention.
Right.
I'm in, because you're selling me the big picture, because I already told you I'm a very visual person. You tell me visually, big picture, I'm into it. But if you're like, oh, okay, this is what Doc does to me.
What does he do? What does he do?
Because
he's been in the comments being a jokester.
These are the specs and details, and it has this function and that function, and and I'm like, and then my head goes delete. Right? I'm just like, just tell me what it's gonna do for me. How does it fit in my overall plan of like world domination? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's like, but if you look at page 54 of the manual, I'm like, okay,
no.
It's like this chat will now self-destruct because you just went too into detail. You know, right? See, Doc can say she's speaking the gospel. It's true, because sometimes he'll be like, Stephanie, you did. I'm like, I just need you to tell me how to set up my Rodecaster Pro so I sound hella cute. Right?
Right.
I don't need to know like what the gear widget is and the history of it. Like, I don't need to know that.
Right.
And so I think oftentimes we as consultants, as coaches, when we're working with our clients, if you understand their mindset and their programming, and you know exactly what buttons to push, then you're going to get the result that you want regardless. Dr.
Because Doc is saying, okay, Janet. What is
what
happening?
have you done for me lately? Dun, dun, dun. You know, exactly. Right? I'm like, first of all, does this align with everything that I want to do? Yes.
Right.
Is it the right price? Yes. Am I going to regret this? No. Okay, here's my
Yeah.
card. That's pretty much how if you were to sell me an
Listen,
idea, that's all I really need.
I want you to know throughout all of this little training that you just gave, I'm like, all right, I know she said she has a class coming up soon. She's doing a new don't you have a
I
new
am.
session come? I know in March, I think it is, right? You're preparing,
It's
isn't it like
April. Yeah.
it's
So it's
April?
April 5th to the 11th. It's a
How
7-day
intensive? It's
NLP training.
intensive. Yeah, it's intensive, right? Like
You know what? Honestly, you can say yes, intensive, but when I tell people this, I'm like, all it takes is 7 days of you and me to really level up your business,
but I got to
honestly.
take time off from work. That's what I mean, right? Like
Yes.
I would have, right?
Yes, very
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Yeah. And
That's what
I've
I
worked
meant
with
by it, right? Yeah.
yeah, and I've worked with clients too, because they'll say like, oh, 7 days is a lot of time. I'm like, you may think that 7 days is a lot of time, but 7 days
Yeah.
is all it takes for me to go from unknown to unforgettable. All it
Right.
really is trying to think about like what's been holding you back for so long. And I think when you could tell your
Mm,
boss that, it's like, listen,
yeah.
if we want to be more persuasive, if we want to learn how
Yeah.
to motivate the masses, we have to understand how to stand out from the sea of sameness. And that's
Yeah.
really connecting our business, our product, our service to the values of what our customer wants. Because I mean, I'll even say it from a marketing perspective. When people pitch me like the specs,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're always asking yourself, well, what's in it for me?
Right.
Like, at what point are you going to give me a testimonial or a story about what's in it for me? And
Right.
so often, I feel like when people are pitching their business, their product, or their service, they're only pitching it from one perspective. And they
Right.
haven't really practiced as far as how to tell that to someone else, like whether it's up or down the chain of command.
Yeah. All right. So, she just said it. Her next NLP is coming up in April. And Tanya also said, she said, earned my master practitioner in NLP years ago, changed everything, starting with the inner
Everything.
work and later the business is the real deal. So,
It is. It is. Yeah. It's here's the thing. And once you master your mindset, everything else to you, when someone comes to your problem, like, is that a problem though? How is it a
yeah.
problem?
Yeah.
Because the thing is that for you to know that something is a problem
Yeah.
is that means that you know what makes it not a problem.
Yeah.
So if you know what makes it a problem, what makes it not a problem? Once
Yeah.
you unlock that, then make it not a problem. That's what you need
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
So
That's fire.
fascinating. Fascinating.
Okay. One last question, and then we're going to get into pod decks because we've already, look, 40 minutes have already
Oh
gone by.
my
43
God.
minutes.
Did
I
we
know it's
already
been like
do that?
time goes by
Ba, ba, ba,
fast
ba,
when
ba.
you're having fun. All right. So, Amazon live streaming,
Yes.
live shopping. What is it?
Live shopping.
Shoppable video, all that stuff.
Shoppable videos,
I'm still
photos,
waiting
all
to
the
be
things.
let into the influencer program. I didn't get in when everybody else was just easily getting in. So every time I try, I'm not. Amazon's like, no, you're not good enough. Go. So I keep getting
Stop.
turned down. I swear to
Which
God.
one did you submit?
I've been using my YouTube because that's where I have the most followers right now. But
Oh,
yeah,
try again.
someone had said, so I have like 14, right under 1,400 followers. Someone had said that they feel like right now the magic number may be around 2,000 with YouTube. So I just got to put in a little bit more work. That's easy to get to. But yeah,
So
I'm still
basically, if you're
waiting.
not already subscribed to the show, that's what you have to do.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for the
Ding,
plug.
ding,
Thanks for
ding.
the plug.
Get it done.
But let's talk about it. Let's talk about why you want to get into that. Let's talk about how you got into that and,
Yeah.
what people are missing
Well,
out on.
so it was really interesting. So I got into it because I was already doing a remote live video production for clients, meaning I would oh my gosh, like I started doing their quarterly business reviews with their clients, or people were trying to do pitch decks all remotely, but they
Okay.
didn't want it to look like Zoom. And
Got
then
you.
eventually that evolved into now they wanted to do live shopping. For me, because I don't personally do live shopping, I first started using Amazon live shopping as kind of like my portfolio to showcase really
Mm.
what eCam can do, how I
Mm-hmm.
could do different scenes.
Yeah.
And so I approached Amazon live shopping more as a producer mindset
Yeah.
to show prospective clients, this is what you can do. This is how you would engage clients and all that other stuff. And so my earliest live streams, I would use that, take the screenshots, put it into a pitch deck and send it over to the clients of like, insert your face here. This is how you
Yeah.
could look like on the world's biggest e-commerce shopping platform. So that's how I first started doing it. And then I started meeting my other friends. We all, like David Utek Nguyen,
Yeah.
Monty Weaver, and
Yeah.
they have these Facebook groups where they're
Yeah.
just raking it in. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait a second,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And so then I started doing Amazon live shopping,
Yeah.
just streaming on my own end. But for me personally,
Yeah.
India, you're so
What?
cute. Look at you.
What?
I found that shoppable videos for me, the 1-minute videos, worked perfectly for me because all I had to do was just use my smartphone. Remember when I said like you have a
Okay.
mobile production in the palm of your hand?
Right.
Now you have this affiliate program in the palm of your hand. And
Yeah.
that's where I typically find my passive income from. It's been crazy. Like even, my gosh, like with the holidays when Christmas
Yeah.
happened, I was
I
like,
bet.
okay, you open your gifts. I was like this the entire time. Oh, this is an unboxing video. Okay, next person. Da, da, da.
Really?
Oh, we're doing a white elephant. Okay, what you got over there? And then
So
it's like,
simple, right?
yeah, it was so
Nuts.
simple. It was such a strategy. And then so even now I was thinking, okay, so Valentine's Day is around the corner. What
Yeah.
kind of products have I already put up
Yeah.
in my queue
Yeah.
for my Amazon shop as far as like dates and, all the things.
Yeah.
So let's
That is
see.
super dope.
Yeah.
Super dope. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for the pod decks? Are you ready for the pod decks? You know,
Of
I'm
course.
surprised people didn't have questions. They were all being smartasses in the comments. Doc, I just had to, let me fix this, put this over here.
Some people are motivated by it.
Listen, when you was
I
asking the
know.
questions about the gym, everybody was just being silly. And I'm like, I'm going to ignore all of y'all. All right. So let's
Some
see.
people go to
So
the gyms and don't.
yeah, exactly. So we got icebreakers, the hustle, all of these. We're not going to do the Beatles because I don't have answers for the Beatles. If you see one that you like, let me know. We can go into it. If not,
No, what was the first one?
the first one. So it's
Yeah.
you want to do? So let's do
Icebreakers?
icebreakers. Yeah, let's do.
Okay.
I've been doing that recently. Paul is mad late. Q helps India find your questions. Ain't nobody asked no questions, Paul. I mean, that's okay. I guess that's a good thing. We're just going to say that because Stephanie's that great. She just answered everybody's questions. That's all that matters.
I love that.
Okay.
Okay. You want me
Given
to
the
answer now? Or you're
choice,
going to read the question.
I read it and then, come on, hold on. You know my flow. Espérate, wait. All right. Okay. Let's reset and go. Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest?
I would love to sit down with Lisa Nichols. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's a motivational speaker.
Yes.
And
yes.
yes.
I found out about her 2 years ago, and first of all, her setup is dope. I was like, oh, her camera's like is on point. But the things that she talks about, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. As far as like mental, physical, spiritual, I feel like she's been through some stuff and she has this wisdom. And when you hear her speak, it makes you want to stop, look, and listen. Like one of my favorite stories that she talks about is how when she was in school, she had a teacher, and a teacher had given her a limiting belief that like, you're not a great speaker, like you're not a great storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
And so for so long that she had felt like weighed down by that. And eventually she's like, you know what? No, you can't tell me what it is that I want to be or who I can be.
Yeah.
Because you're judging me on who I was then, not who I am now. Because who I am now has the power to make the decision of who it is that I want to be. And so then now she goes and talks about like how she's one of the world's, most requested speaker. She's just always in demand. And I thought that was so powerful because how often do we get the critics in the comments that say things to us because it's so easy for them? And you really have a choice, right? You really have a choice to hold on to whatever someone said to you, whether they're in a bad mood. Like, people are in their own world. I mean, I often tell people like, sometimes when people are in a crappy mood, sometimes you're an NPC, you're just an NPC that's just roaming around in the world, but at one point you need to claim your main character vibes, right? Like main character energy. That's what 2023 is about.
That's right. Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest? I mean, you got the whole intellectual answer and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. If I had to answer,
you don't know?
No, I don't know. If I had to know, hold on, this one. First person that comes into my head, realistically, if I wanted to have a conversation, I don't know, Michelle Obama. I love her. I'm reading her book, The
Oh,
Light We Carry now.
oh, that's
Really
good.
good. Yeah. Yeah. It's been good so far. I haven't, I'm like reading like 5 books at once. So it's
Oh,
like,
that's
which
good.
book do I give attention to? Just started reading
Yeah.
Atomic Habits yesterday morning. Today's Sunday.
Atomic
This
Habits
morning.
is good.
Yeah. Atomic
That's
Habits.
actually really based on some NLP.
Is it really?
When you look into it.
See,
Yeah. I mean, there's
see.
that's the thing is that oftentimes you'll find that a lot of the foundations in NLP is just
Yeah.
repackaged by marketers under a different name.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
once you know what it actually is, you're like, oh, that's this. They just named
Right.
it differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Lewis says you get brownie
Brownie
points
points
for
for
the
NPC.
NPC comment.
It's true. Sometimes people they wake up, they're like, this is my script of how to be who I am. Everyone else
Right.
is just NPCs walking around.
Right.
Yep.
Right. 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 Okay. What are some challenges, difficulties, and hardships you've overcome or are working to overcome? And what can you what? Why can't I read? How how can what you learn? This was like a long wordied. Yeah,
You're
exactly.
like, what are all
Okay.
these words on
What
this
is
deck?
all
I
these
didn't know.
words? I'm just gonna start probably because I'm gonna read looking at my screen instead of looking at my phone. Go ahead.
Yeah. What are some challenges, difficulties, and hardships you've overcome or are working to overcome? How can what you learned help others? I mean, I'll give you the new one, right? So, I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
obviously, if you haven't heard, you're gonna hear it now. I
I'm
go
here.
by Stephanie Garcia, and some of you are probably wondering, well, what does that mean exactly? It means I'm a single mom, right? And so India was saying this too. She was like, well, people know you as Stephanie Luna. I was like, I know, and that's something that I have to overcome. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. I'm the one that created Stephanie Lou.
Oh,
I'm the one that built that credibility. No
go
one
ahead.
else. You know what I'm saying?
Go
It's the
ahead.
content that I created. And so,
Yeah.
what I'm teaching others is that you have permission to reinvent yourself. So, whether you're
Mm.
an ad agency creative, whether you're a mom, whether you're whatever the hell it is, you can always reinvent yourself. There is a strategy and a framework for doing it for how you could keep yourself top of mind and tip of tongue. And for India and
Yeah.
I, that's creating content. That's
Yeah.
you getting out there and taking your stumbling blocks and turning them into stepping stones for the next
Yeah.
generation. So when people are like, what is my hardship? Yeah, it's a hardship now because how many other Garcias in the world do you see out there if you were to
Right.
search it? But let me tell you, there's only one spicy Stephanie Lopez Garcia, right? And like, so that's what I'm doing in 2023. It's main character
Yeah.
energy. You're gonna hear it, you're gonna see it, you're gonna see my Facebook stories, you're gonna see my Instagram stories, you're gonna see me on TikTok, you're gonna see me on shows like this. But what I'm hoping to instill in others is that whatever from your lips to God's ears, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you claim it. You
Yeah.
reinvent yourself. Don't
Yeah.
don't worry about what other people think because I mean, frankly, I don't give a right?
Right.
But
Right.
you do you.
Yeah.
And if people aren't used to hearing, oh,
Yeah.
things change, whatever. It's just you do you. You're in charge of your own destiny and like don't hide. Don't
Yeah.
hide.
Don't hide. Oh man, that's good. That's good. K-Walk says I'm in that reinventing process now.
Yeah.
Um
And God, can you just imagine? You're like, if
yeah.
that was me, who am
Yeah.
I now?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you get to choose how you want to sculpt yourself. What does that look like? What does it sound like? What is that energy? Because when I had to leave the agency world, it was very proper. It was very
Right.
B2B clients.
Yeah.
Shifting over into the live streaming world, it was, layer by layer, like how quirky can I get? How dorky can I get? And
Right.
even now,
Right.
like, let me tell you, I have been adorkable. This year, I'm gonna be hellified. Like,
Right.
I'm
Right.
gonna do me. So
Right.
it just, yeah. To anyone
Yeah.
that's just kind of like, hey, I've been holding back or whatever. Like, this is your
Yeah.
time. I
Yeah.
give you permission. India and I give you
Yeah.
permission.
That's it.
You know?
That's it. Yeah, similar for me. So I would say two things right now that I'm working to overcome. The first one is so I turned 40 this year, 6 months ago, and my weight. So I was a lot heavier 7, 8 years ago. A lot heavier, and I lost almost 50 pounds, and I've been able to maintain pretty much all of it off. And you know how it is when you go through such a large weight loss, you'll gain back 10, you'll gain back 15, right? Like and then I lose it again. Um, I weighed myself last week. So when I was at my heaviest was 228. And then I lost 50 pounds. I went down, I got down to 182. And then the pandemic hit and I needed to work out with a personal trainer at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And because we couldn't do that, it just like threw a whole monkey wrench in my stuff. And unfortunately, I didn't adapt in time. I found the cycling, but I found cycling when I was already here in Philly. And I gained the weight back, right? Like that was like, okay, I gained 10 pounds back. But anyway, so I say that because at my heaviest I was 228 and I had that moment where I looked at myself in, you know, in a picture and I was like, who is that? How did I get that far? Said I'll never do it again. Weighed myself on Monday and I'm at 202. And I was like, oh, hell no. Right? Because it's that creeping up to my, you know, that weight that I said I'll never get back to. Right? Like it was like, all right, I was at 198 and it's like, okay, I've gained weight, but I can
Yeah.
lose it again. And then it crept up to
Yeah.
199. And then, right? So I'm at 202 and I was like, no, you done lost your mind. So then I really, and this is just recently, I really had to just have that conversation with myself of you're 40, you're not a baby anymore. Like I need to get into the routines, one for my health, right? And Angie yells at me all the time. Angie's like, listen, I got you so late in our lives. I want to have you for so much longer, right? Like we didn't have
Oh,
our
that's
20s.
so
I know she's so cute. I know.
sweet.
That's my babe. That's my babe. Right. But she yells at me. And so again, that light bulb was, it's going to be so much harder now that I'm 40 compared to when, you know, when I was in my 30s losing 50 pounds. I need to, and I can't do that yo-yo stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that I'm working to overcome. And I started, right? And it's not about, oh, I'm going to go to the gym. That's what everybody, I feel like, especially for the new year, that's everybody. I'm going to go to the gym. I love to go to the gym, but that don't mean nothing for me, right? If I'm not eating, for me personally, if I'm not eating healthy, if I'm not watching all of the stuff, the gym, that's nothing. Because
Yeah.
again, it may get to a point where I'm 60, 70, I still got to be eating healthy. I won't be able to go to the gym as hard. So that's one of the things that I'm working on now. Just figuring out a routine as I get older and just being healthier and incorporating everything, not just obviously physical activity, but then my emotional health, my mental health, like
For sure.
all of that stuff, right? The self-care. So that's that. I've lost 6 pounds in a week. I started doing my keto. I'm like super happy, all into it, right? So we gotta.
Yes. Good for
What?
you.
Thank you.
You know,
Go
oftentimes
ahead.
I find that if we did it once, we could do it again.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those things too where
Yeah.
I find that for me, like, I mean, at this age, I know my SOPs. I know what works, what
Right.
doesn't work. And so
Right.
it's kind of like I know how to take care of me. I can't be, yeah, have you ever had one of those friends who are like, "Oh, I have a headache because I didn't eat yet." And it's like, "Well, why didn't you eat?"
Right.
It's like, "Well,
Right.
because you didn't put yourself as a priority. So when are you going to start putting
Right.
yourself as a priority?" You
Right.
know, and it's really one of those things. Like for me, if I could put my what I eat on autopilot, not have to worry about it,
Yeah.
that's good. That works for me. Like that's my
Yeah.
strategy, right?
Yeah.
I know I go into the morning, I get my protein shake, I add my superfoods and probiotics to it, and I'm good for like a good 3 hours. By lunchtime, I need to have this. If I have a headache that
Yep.
comes on, I know I need to drink more water or I
Right.
need to have more carbs.
Right.
Um, but it's just, I mean, I feel like at this point, it's like, you know, the user manual for you.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly. That's so
yeah,
that listen 100%, and that's why I decided to, because I know that working out, I cycle. I'm a cyclist. I can burn thousands of calories if I just start cycling every day. But what does that mean to me if I'm still eating like crap? So for me, you know, when I saw that number, I was like, nah, I gotta figure out my eating routine. I really have to like dive deep. And then once I get that in a flow and I get that consistent, then I'll get back into the physical activity because that's not a
yeah,
problem for me. Um,
yeah.
and then the other one, Doc says, that moment in your 40s when you stop giving a single buck is called clarity. And that's the
It's
other
true.
one for me. That is because just recently, just with some of my stuff with my bank job, I'm like, Stuff that used to drive me crazy, I'd be like, this doesn't
It's not a
serve
problem.
me. Right. This
Nope.
doesn't serve me. Moving on.
This does not serve me. It does not evolve me. So it does
Right.
not involve me.
Well, right.
Simple as that.
Exactly.
So move along.
Exactly. All right. Let's see. So let me look and see how much time. All right. So we're right at the hour. I'm going to ask you one more question and then
Okay.
we will wrap up. I don't want this question. So let me see. Okay. Complete this sentence with anything other than your job title. I am a
Goddess. I am a goddess.
Ooh!
I have the power to create things. I have the power to create life. I have power to create. I created my daughter. I have the power to create the business, the life, and anything that I want and deserve. I am a goddess. I mean, that is
Go
through and
ahead.
through. I wake up. I know what it is that I want. Yeah.
Yes. All right. That's what I'm talking about. That was dope. For me, I would say, so the first thing that came to my mind was I'm a wonderful person, right? Self good talk. I'm a cyclist. I'm a gamer. I'm a car girl. I'm a lot of things. But all right, my friend. Well, this has been fun. It has. It has been super fun. Any parting words for the community before you go?
Well, let's see. Let me introduce you to my babes. This is my living legacy over
There
here.
you go.
This is my wonderful
She
one.
said you're having too much fun.
This is the baby girl.
Hey, girl.
I know. She's like, let's go hang out. Let's go eat. Any parting words for everyone is, you know what you want. And I think when you start listening to that voice inside your head and your heart and you get them aligned for what it is that you want, you're going to find your life to be so much happier. And so at some point, when are you going to make yourself and what it is that you want a priority? Because you're done. You're done. You're done helping other people and putting other people first. And if you needed permission, we give you permission.
That's it.
India, and this little pumpkin over here.
That's it. Yeah. She's like, Mom, see, we came in at the hour. All right, everyone, give it up for our girl, Stephanie Lopez Garcia. All right, let's do a parting. Yes. All right, so let's practice this because we're going to see each other next month. So you see me on the corner. My back is turned to you. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Not so short. No, you can't do it short because you'll scare the people. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I appreciate you. She's like, Mom, what is happening? I appreciate you. Thank you so much, sis. You can find Stephanie Garcia. All of her information is in the comments in the description, so make sure you check her out. Next week's guest will be Kat Mulvihill, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Buenos nachos, nos vemos. Peace out, y'all.